So as trade season heats up, some of the Bulls players that are expected to be on the block are starting to heat up a bit to hopefully increase that trade value, or I guess we shouldn't rule out the fact that this might give AK a reason to stand pat and keep all these guys together, because Coby White is looking like himself again. He's looking like the player we saw at the end of last season after the Bulls traded Zach LaVine, and he became the Bulls' primary scoring option. We talked about this last game. Coby White has finally found that stroke from downtown, and that continued in tonight's game against the Clippers, where just started toying with the Clippers in the fourth quarter, taking shots I don't think he would normally take if they weren't blowing the game out, and Coby was just on an insane heat check at that point. But Coby tied his season high with 27 points, was 6 for 10 from 3. This, of course, after he went 7 for 11 from deep in their last game. You can tell he's trying to get those numbers back up after starting off the year with a career worst shooting from behind the arc. He was trying to stat pad a bit on some of those when the game was clearly out of reach, but nah, regardless, Coby had a great game. He actually played solid defense as well. I was impressed with his ability to play Harden one-on-one in certain possessions. Harden did not have a good game. My goodness, 9 for 25 from the floor, 6 turnovers. He was a disaster out there for the Clippers, but then it wasn't just Coby, right? It wasn't just Coby as one of the Bulls' handful of trade assets they may be looking to move before the deadline. Vucevic had another solid game. And I actually thought Vooch would struggle in this one going up against Zubac, who is a great rim protector and a great offensive rebounder. But nah, Vooch bodied him up a lot in the post. Even had some plays where he would beat him off the dribble to the basket. Vooch had 2 dunks in this game. I don't know why, but seeing Vucevic dunk always makes me laugh because he's so huge that it's easy for him to dunk, but it also looks like he's barely gonna cover the rim when he leaps for it. But yeah, give Vucevic credit. He outworked Zubac in this game, finished with 19 points on 8 for 12 shooting, 8 rebounds and 4 assists, also a steal and 2 blocks. 0 turnovers for him as well, and was a plus 16 when he was on the floor. Now, I should call out the fact that the Clippers played last night against the Wizards and actually barely won that game, but they look like a team that we're playing the second night of a back-to-back, a traveling back-to-back, especially when you're the oldest team in the NBA. And also, they didn't have Kawhi Leonard in the lineup, who has been playing really well as of late. So yes, I would argue this was another game the Bulls were supposed to win. But this is a Clippers team that has been one of the hottest teams in the NBA on a 6-game winning streak, and I believe 13-2 or something since they released Chris Paul. So yes, the Bulls took care of business against a tired team, but it was an impressive win nonetheless, given the Bulls really controlled this game throughout. Like, with the exception of the Clippers going on that run early in the third quarter to cut the lead to 7 points, the Bulls were in command throughout. And even after the Clippers run, the Bulls answered it with a run of their own, going on an 11-0 run to bring the lead back to 18 pretty quickly. And by the fourth quarter, with a 19-point lead, Ty Lue actually threw in the towel and cleared his bench to start that quarter, which I thought was pretty odd, by the way. Like, I get it, your team is old, they just played last night, they're probably not going to come back down 19 to win this game, but it wasn't like this was a 30-plus point lead. Crazier things have happened in the NBA. A 19-point lead can easily be overcome this day and age, so I was surprised to see Lue do that so early, maybe with 7 or 8 minutes left. Yeah, okay, I can see it. But to just call it quits at the start of the fourth quarter was crazy to me. But what was more crazy to me, though, was that Billy Donovan inexplicably kept most of his starters in, even did so when the Bulls started blowing up the lead over 30 points. What was insane to me was that he finally called a timeout with about 4.5 minutes left to go, I believe it was, and you thought, okay, he's finally going to start clearing his bench. He's going to take out his starters now because there's literally no reason to keep them in. He took them all out, but he left Coby in, a guy who is still getting back into things after suffering that calf injury. The game is over, completely out of reach. Why did you feel the need to leave him in the game? He left Ayo in as well after that timeout. He didn't actually bring in his guys that are normally out of the rotation until the final 3 minutes, where you saw Javon Carter, Olbrich, and Julian Phillips make their way to the court. Like, that was borderline Tibbs status right there, and I was baffled watching it. But that said, Matas Buzelis had another great game. 21 points on very efficient 8 for 14 shooting, shot 4 for 8 from 3. Love seeing that 3 ball go down more for him, and another 2-block game for Matas as well. He was also a team high, actually I should say a high for starters, plus 27 when he was on the floor. You know, there was that one play to start the third quarter on the defensive miss on Matas' part where I believe John Collins was left wide open for a corner 3, and Billy Donovan called a quick timeout and gave Matas the hook. While I get why he's doing that, and yes, I know Matas wants this, he himself has said he wants to be coached hard, he wants to be coached like an all-defensive team player, so sure, it's possible that's why Billy Donovan is doing this, but part of me is also just like, man, this team isn't good enough to be doing stuff like this where you're trying to send a message to one of your young players. And yes, we know Modest is mature and he takes these things as learning moments for him. I do hope it doesn't get to a point though where he doesn't start building some sort of resentment, especially when you don't see Billy doing this with other guys, even though for the other guys on the roster, their defense has been worse than Buzelis's. I just hope that's not the case. Either way, Modest has been playing great, and that's all I really care about for now. Bulls went with the double big lineup to start this one. I actually love it, not because Jalen Smith has been balling out in the starting unit, because he's been fine, he's been solid in that role, but it gives the Bulls that many more weapons off the bench with their depth. Giddey's likely going to come back the next game, so we'll see if that continues with Jalen Smith staying in the starting lineup, but Tre Jones and Ayo have been fantastic in the second unit. Tre Jones almost had a triple-double in 26 minutes, 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists, only missing 1 shot in this game. Ayo, 18 points on 7 for 10 shooting, 4 for 5 from 3, a plus 28 on the floor. Tre Jones was a ridiculous, actually, plus 32. I actually hope the Bulls don't trade out Asumu. I really like Ayo's hustle and the energy he brings on both ends. Unless, of course, the Bulls get some insane offer for him, I would prefer to see the Bulls just extend him at this point. Man, the Bulls, 25 threes tonight in this game. That tied a franchise record for most threes in a game. But this was on their best percentage, making 25 threes, 25 for 47, 53% from 3 on that kind of volume. That's insane. The Bulls were 57% from the field overall, another 40 assist game. Their offense has just been much more on point as of late, where guys are getting involved, moving the ball along the perimeter, making the quick outlet pass off of a rebound. And even though, yes, this was a Clippers team that hasn't been very good this season, and they did play last night, this was one of the Bulls' better defensive games on the year. They forced a lot of turnovers, a lot of deflections, deterrences at the rim, 10 steals, 11 blocks in this game. Everyone had active hands on that end of the floor, which you love to see if this team is at all going to be serious and actually trying to be something more than just a play-in team. You gotta also step it up on the defensive side of the ball. Games are about to get tough though. They've got the Timberwolves up next. Can they get back to 500? We'll see. The Heat lost tonight though, which now only has them 1 game back behind them for the 8th seed. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of the game. Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.